Forget Malibu Beach or the glitz of Los Angeles. This time, we're exploring a different side of California, one that doesn't show up in travel brochures or on movie screens. Behind the fertile valleys and towering buildings, there are small towns slowly fading away, yet still holding stories of hard work, loss, and resilience. From the dry Mojave Desert to the quiet northern forests to the struggling farming valleys, each place has its own pulse. These are the 15 most remote and run-down small towns in California. Ready to see the side of California that no longer shines, but is perhaps the most honest? There's something about Needles, California, that feels like a town frozen in time. At the eastern edge of the Mojave Desert, it's one of the hottest places in America, once hitting a record of 52 degrees Celsius. In the past, Needles was a key stop on Route 66, the legendary highway that connected Chicago to Los Angeles. But once modern highways were built, traffic dropped, businesses closed one by one, and the town slowly faded. Today, Needles has a population of only about 4,800 people, yet the cost of living is still higher than the national average. Ironically, the town has caught the eye of legal cannabis investors because its extreme weather is ideal for indoor growing. So in the middle of a scorching desert, Needles' economy survives not because of tourism or mining, but because of cannabis. If Needles still has a faint pulse of life, Desert Center feels like a leftover from a world long forgotten. Still within the dry stretch of the Mojave Desert, this town once existed thanks to the dream of a man named Stanley Ragsdale, who built a gas station and cafe for travelers on Route 60 back in the 1920s. But after a new highway bypassed the main road, Desert Center lost everything, slowly dying along with the dust blowing in the hot wind. Now, the town is almost completely empty. Abandoned buildings, a deserted school, and rows of dried palm trees stand as witnesses to the past. Ironically, in this total isolation, Desert Center has become a testing ground for solar energy technology, since the desert gets sunlight for more than 350 days a year. Boron might be the clearest example of how a town can live and die because of one thing: mining. In the barren stretch of the Mojave Desert, this small town sits atop the world's largest borate mine, owned by the Rio Tinto Company. This is where the raw materials for soap, glass, and even NASA rockets come from. But behind that industrial achievement, boron hides a deep silence. Once, thousands of workers filled its small streets. Now, many homes sit empty, shops are closed, and the atmosphere feels frozen in time. When the mining shifts end, the town feels completely lifeless. Only dry winds and the smell of dust remain. Ironically, boron is still a backbone of global industry, yet the life of the town itself is slowly fading. A town that feels like it lives in two worlds, half alive, half lost between desert winds and dusty railroad tracks. In the past, this place was a key hub for railways and test flights, with the Mojave Air and Spaceport once symbolizing California's big dreams of space exploration. But after the aerospace industry declined, Mojave lost its rhythm. Now, old planes sit lined up in quiet hangars, like giant metal carcasses in the desert. Its main road is filled with cheap motels, old gas stations, and restaurants that seem to be waiting for a busy season that will never return. The town isn't dead. It just seems to be endlessly postponing its final breath. If Mojave feels like a town waiting, Cabazon is a town fighting. Located on the edge of the Coachella Valley Desert, this town is known for two things: the giant roadside dinosaurs and a massive outlet mall that draws tourists in for shopping. But behind the sparkle, life for locals is far from easy. The per capita income is only around $41,000 US, with nearly 15% of residents living below the poverty line. Sadly, the luxury stores along the highway are surrounded by modest homes and struggling small businesses. Cabazon shows two sides of California, one of prosperity's illusion and one of harsh reality, hidden behind the big billboards on the freeway. Heading into California's Central Valley, Avenal stands in stark contrast after a long desert drive. The town is surrounded by wide fields and dry mountains, but behind the calm scenery lies a tough reality. Avenal is often called the oil, almond, and prison town, because those three things are truly what keep it going. Here stands Avenal State Prison, which even houses more people than the town's own population. The poverty rate reaches nearly 22%, while job opportunities outside the prison and oil fields are becoming more limited. Many residents rely on unstable seasonal work. The heat in the air feels like a metaphor: dry, heavy, but still, life manages to hang on. If Avenal is tough because of industry and prisons, Orange Cove touches on a more human side. This small town survives through the hands of farm workers, many of them Mexican immigrants who harvest oranges, grapes, and almonds under the scorching sun of the Central Valley. But behind the scent of fresh fruit lies a harsh reality. More than 45% of the population lives below the poverty line, making it one of the poorest towns in California. Many families live in modest homes, relying on harvest seasons and daily wages. Schools here fight hard to maintain the quality of education despite limited funding. Even so, the community is warm, full of togetherness and a strong family spirit. Orange Cove isn't just a small town. It's a story of resilience and hope among fields that never stop bearing fruit. In this town, water isn't just a basic need, it's a fight for survival. This small town in Tulare County once became a symbol of California's worst water crisis. When severe drought hit from 2014 to 2016, hundreds of residential wells completely dried up. Many families had to bathe and wash using bottled water, with some relying entirely on water tank deliveries. The poverty rate here is over 35%, and most residents work as farm laborers without stable employment. Behind the modest homes, East Porterville reveals a different face of California. Not beaches and luxury, but struggle on cracked, thirsty land. Although the government has since supplied piped water from a neighboring city, the social and economic wounds in East Porterville are far from healed. Up in the Sierra Nevada foothills, Dobbins feels like a place where time stands still. Surrounded by pine forests and small lakes, the town appears peaceful, but beneath its beauty lies a deep sense of isolation. Only around 370 residents live here, most of them depending on seasonal work or small community-based businesses. Access to basic services like hospitals, large markets, or even stable internet is quite limited. When winter arrives and roads get icy, Dobbins can become completely cut off from the outside world. Even so, there's a romantic side to it. Fresh air, clear night skies, and close bonds between neighbors. Dobbins is a place where peace is a luxury, but also a reminder that living in the wild demands patience and true self-reliance. In the heart of the Trinity Mountains, Weaverville stands like a leftover page from California's history book. Founded during the gold rush of the 1850s, this town was once bustling with gold miners from America to China. Even today, the Joss House Temple, the oldest Chinese temple in California, still stands as a witness to that era. Now, the atmosphere has completely changed. Fewer than 4,000 people live here, moving at a slow pace, surrounded by dense forests and cool mountain air. But behind that calm, challenges remain: limited medical access, few job opportunities, and an economy that depends on seasonal tourism. Weaverville feels like a town that resists modernity, quiet, beautiful, but hard to live in for long. Further into northwestern California, Ruth feels like a tiny dot in a sea of forest. The town is tucked away in Trinity County, surrounding Ruth Lake, a man-made reservoir built in the 1960s to control flooding from the Mad River. Its population is fewer than 150 people, most of whom live in wooden cabins by the lake, far from the noise of the modern world. On the other hand, Ruth is a paradise for fishers and hunters, a place where eagles, deer, and black bears are part of everyday life. Interestingly, in 2020, the town was nearly erased from the map by a massive wildfire. Grizzly Flats was once just a small community in El Dorado County, quiet, filled with pine trees, and a retreat for those wanting a peaceful life in the Sierra Mountains. But everything changed in August 2021, when the Calder Fire swept through and destroyed nearly the entire town. Of about 400 homes, almost all were lost. The school, church, and post office, gone without a trace. Only a few structures remain standing among the ashes and burned metal. The fire became one of the most destructive in California's history, and many residents still haven't returned. Even though the government has promised to rebuild, Grizzly Flats now feels more like a memory than a town. It stands as a symbol of how fragile small communities can be in the face of natural disasters, and a reminder that living in the forest doesn't always mean peace. Hat Creek may be small, but it has a unique story that most remote towns don't. Located in Shasta County, between pine forests and ancient lava fields, this town is home to the Hat Creek Radio Observatory, a center for astronomical research working with the SETI Institute to search for signals of life beyond Earth. Imagine, in a place with fewer than 100 residents, scientists are staring at the sky looking for signs of aliens. But outside the observatory, life moves slowly. The main road is quiet, stores rarely open, and most residents rely on outdoor tourism like fishing and camping along the clear waters of Hat Creek. Geyserville sounds prosperous, but behind its wine country charm, This small town in Sonoma County holds a story of changing times. Once known for the geysers, the largest geothermal field in the world, the area used to attract both tourists and energy companies. But as geothermal activity declined and tourism shifted to nearby towns like Healdsburg and Calistoga, Geyserville began to lose its buzz. Today, the population is under 900, and many old shops along the main street only open seasonally. Still, remnants of its heyday remain. Rows of Western-style buildings, old vineyards, and murals depicting the Wild West era. As the final stop on this journey, South Taft feels fitting, a former oil town now caught between nostalgia and reality. Located in Kern County, this area was once a key part of California's oil industry, along with Taft and Maricopa. In its prime, drilling rigs stretched as far as the eye could see, and thousands of workers came seeking fortune. But now, most of the oil fields have gone quiet. Data shows that nearly 30% of South Taft's population lives in poverty, and many old buildings have been left empty. The air still smells of crude oil, as if refusing to forget its golden days. Yet, behind the quiet streets and creaky old pumps, there's a strange charm, a kind of pride that refuses to fade.